welcome to Edison Open House Global Healthcare 2021. With me in this session, a company that COVID has catapulted to front of mind, Oxford Biomedica. In April 2020, they entered a $15 million deal with AstraZeneca to produce its vaccine candidate at their new Oxbox manufacturing centre. The rest, as they say, is history. With me to discuss all things COVID, but I hope lots about non-COVID things too, is its CEO, John Dawson. Welcome.
Hello there, it's great to be here, thank you.
Well, 2020 was an extraordinarily busy year for you, John. I mean, not only was Oxbox just getting to its completion just at the moment that was needed, but you also had your Lentivector Platform, you had your Executive of the Year award, you had all sorts of things happening. You increased the number of partnerships dramatically. So let's first of all deal with the COVID thing and that perfect serendipity of timing.
Well, we had been building Oxbox since the end of 18, and it was a massive project for us. We were building future capacity for our Lentivector platform. Very, very exciting, of course, to have that move coming forward. And we were planning to have some of that coming on stream in 20 as we needed capacity, some coming in 21 and some coming on in 22. As it happened, we were talking to the Jenner Institute before the tie-up with AZ, and we started talking to them about being there for manufacturing support for the vaccine. So important to try and play a part against the pandemic. So that's what we did. We started talking to them. Obviously moved on to work with AZ after that. They then worked with us, gave us the first deal and the second deal, an 18-month deal, the second one, to work on the vaccine. We borrowed 2 large bioreactors from VMIC, 2,000 litre bioreactors to put into the suites. And we worked frenetically to make sure we were ready to produce the batches so vital to the UK population and the European populations. So from there, I could say the rest is history. It's not, we're still working on it, a long way to go still, but we are producing it successfully and shipping it. And so it's been 6 months of activity for our process development and our manufacturing teams like never before. So we've done our normal business, plus on top of that, in our spare time, we've worked on AZ as well. So it's been amazing to be part of it, but it has been a massive, massive draw on time and effort of the individuals concerned.
Well, congratulations. It's been a just totally magnificent effort on your part and all of your staff and colleagues. Well done to all of them. And thank you. So let's now go to things non-COVID. Just tell me a bit about business as usual, as it were, for Oxford Biomedica.
So to give you a little bit of history, we started back in 1996, went to the main market LSE in 2001, I think it was, and actually in 2020 we moved into the FTSE 250. So that was something, when I first came to the company 12 years ago, if someone said to me, you're getting to the FTSE 1250 before you leave, I think I would have laughed at them. But I mean, it's fantastic, it's a great achievement, and so much down to the team I work with and the guys in the company. So important to have a great team and employees around you. To give you an example of how this has grown, market cap price, my lowest point was 30 million, not far after I got there. We've been recently around 800 million pounds, which is fantastic. And people-wise, back in January 14, we were 60 people. By the end of 17, we were 320, 430 end of 18, 500, just over 500 by the end of 19. And by the end of 20, we were around 650. So you can see that spectacular growth. And some of that's driven by actually having to staff up to do the vaccine work as well. But fantastic things there. Our partner programs as well, over the 12 months, grew from 13 to 20, and June to June grew from 10 to 20. So massive momentum there, working with our partners to grow the business. And 2 things we do there, find new partners, but also because you do a great job with these partners, they give you more programs. So for example, back at the end of 19, we went from 2 to 6 with Novartis, which is a big step up. And also it's a massive thing for the business to be working on. So really exciting things going on within the business. I sound like I'm talking about CMO side as well. We also work on our own products, and that's so important to us, our proprietary pipeline as well. There, we're taking a real interest in taking things into phase 1, 2 for the future. We're working on the next candidate to take forward. And of course, we've had success here in the past with our Parkinson's drug, as it's called today, Axolenti PD with SIO. And we had a great deal with them back in 2018, which was a fantastic deal for Oxford Biomedica. I think we got 30 million up front there, and a buy world value of about $850 million. So We have the two arms of the business, both are very important to us. The one that's more prominent in the news at the moment, of course, is the one working around the CDMO side, and of course, working with the vaccine.
Now, tell me about your Lentivector platform, because that's been very successful.
It has been, and deservedly so. And interestingly, it's a simple process when you take it as a high level, but it's very not simple at all. What you do is you take a virus, you strip out the contents inside of that virus, and then you put in the gene you want to deliver. So, for example, we use HIV viruses, which are very safe, everything is stripped out, or we use equine infectious anemia viruses, EIAV as we call it, and we use those in various types of different indications. When these go into the body, everything we do with Lentivector, by the time you actually inject it, it's a once-only injection. So if you can imagine treating Parkinson's with a once-only injection, diseases of the eye, the CART programs, the cancer programs we work on, all of these are so important to us, and each one of them you only inject once because of the mode of operation of the Lentivector.
Can you describe Oxford Biomedica's strategy?
Of course, it's really interesting what we follow. We offer what we call a hybrid strategy going forward, and this is built around the backbone of our company, which is the Lentivector Platform. That has four main pillars to it. Firstly, we have the IP. That's why people give us royalties out into the long-term future when they launch their products. Massive part of our model. We have a long-term financial interest in these partners' products. Onto people. I've already spoken about the numbers of people, but they were highly qualified. We have some of the best in the world in our business, in the GMP suites and the labs, and designing new technologies. And this is so important to driving the business forward. Then, of course, we come to the facilities. We have 5 buildings, all in Oxford, all around the area. We've gone from 4 GMP suites to 7 in the not too distant past, effectively, and also many, many more laboratories than we had, because we had to take away that bottleneck as well. And the other big thing we have is the quality systems. And again, we worked with Novartis to launch Kymriah, where FDA approved for commercial manufacture of Lentivector, so important. And other partners look to that qualification to be so important to them as well. So that's key. Then we drop into the 2 parts of the business. Firstly, we have the CDMO side, where we have these 20 drugs we're working on with partners. And this gives us this manufacturing potential, firstly, and then royalties as and when the drugs get to market and they're commercialized, and also incentives generally, and milestones along the way to get these things done. And we have some great partners in that area. We have Novartis, Orchard, BMS, Santen, many, AstraZeneca is the newest one, many partners there, big names and very important to us. To the other part of the business, on the graph I normally use, is it's to the right-hand side. We talk about our proprietary products, and that's, of course, 8 of those. And here we have 2 choices here: to keep them in-house and take them forward ourselves, to take them into trials and do them, or we can actually license them out to partners. That's the SIO deal I spoke about earlier. And the SIO deal with our Parkinson's drug was very lucrative financially for the company, a 30 million up front and a buy of $850 million, and lots of milestones and royalties. And of course, the royalties there are much higher because it's a drug we designed ourselves as well. So really exciting to do that type of thing. Love to have taken that drug forward ourselves, but the risk profile of the company at the time was right to do that and share the risk with other partners. But a fantastic opportunity of that drug, and we're very excited about it. We plan to do further stuff in-house ourselves, so we want to take drugs into phase 1, 2 and go further with those, because we believe even if we're licensed out at the end of phase 1, 2, the upside for shareholders will be huge, although we might at that point in time decide to go further with drugs as well. All about where you are at the time, your balance sheet and your support from your shareholders.
Now, you've seen a doubling of partner programs in the last year, which is extraordinary. And was that a deliberate strategy, or is it one of those things that's just been organic?
I'd say it's deliberate, but also organic. So first of all, we want to have as many programs as possible to make sure we actually have the most shots on goal working with our partners, because the more you do, you'll get the manufacturing revenues, and ultimately you'll get the royalties from those things as well. So important to us to have those royalties, because they are very big numbers. And at a point in time, the royalties become almost greater than the manufacturing. So if the drug does very, very well. So yes, it's been a great idea and a great aim to get more programs. But again, we've done this also by default by working with partners. We've done a great job with them. They like us, they work with us, we've succeeded for them. So they can give us more of their programs, because that's the natural way of doing things when you have a great partnership. So yes, it's planned, it's wanted, but also it's evolving with our partners we currently have because we perform.
You've talked a bit about AZ and what you're doing with them and about Novartis, but how about the BMS and Juno partnership?
Well, that deal is a great deal for us, and we believe that one day that'll be as big for us as Novartis has been and is going forward. So we'll have two huge partnerships in that point in time. That deal was a buy of about $227 million, I think it was, with a $10 million upfront, 4 programs, CAR-Ts and TCR-Ts, incredibly exciting. And again, normal royalty profile when the drugs launch later on. And of course, we're working on those, driving them forward. It's a great partnership. They're very supportive of us and us of them. And we expect to have further drugs coming forward from them in the future. That's something that happens with most of our partners. We start with 1, 2, 3, 4 and go to more afterwards. So really exciting. And I think that deal was a real catch for us because of the 3 original companies working in CAR-Ts. We now have 2 of them working with us, which is great. Juno, the original Juno is what we caught up here with. So it's fantastic to have them on board.
So with gene therapy, we've seen it appear and then disappear, and now it's back, and it's a really important and vibrant new field. What's Oxford Biomedica doing to innovate in this area?
Well, the key thing for us around the innovation side is 2 things. Firstly, the platform is everything. We believe we lead the world with our platform currently around Lentivector, but we have to innovate and keep creating better ways of doing that. In many ways, I can give you examples we've done so far to make that stand out. We went from the old cell factory process to 200-litre bioreactors, which are now working with Novartis and all our partners. That gave us a 10-fold increase in production for the same input virtually. So when you think about working with a partner, several key questions: cost per dose per patient and number of doses per batch. So when you increase your yield 10-fold by going to the bioreactor, you've just decreased the cost of goods 10-fold for the company, and going so to make the drug more reasonable for the patient or the medical provider to pay for. Second, again, and other things we've done, we've thought about the next step, another 10-fold increase in yield. We have something called a transgene repression and production system, which is patented, and that gives us a 10-fold increase again. Now, those 2 10-fold increases in certain indications are very important. If you think about going into the lung or the liver, you tend to need 10 times, a lot more vector than you have going into the eye, the brain, or the CAR-Ts for cancer. It's not to scale, but if you compare a thimble to a pint glass, it might give you some idea about what you're going to do to immerse a lung or a liver in the vector. So we have to make a lot more, and we have to make it much more cost efficient. So these steps are making it possible to treat these patients with Lentivector, where it wouldn't have been possible without these steps in the past. Looking forward further, again, we have lots of new interesting things coming through. We have Lenti-stable, SEC-nuke, as you call it, and other things we're working on called U1 and U2. Very good names, those. Unnamed 1, unnamed 2, but again, patent in progress. These things are taking our things forward rapidly. We're looking at automation and our testing. There's an awful lot of testing that goes into producing a batch of Lentivector to go to patients. So we're now making that process far more automated with robots. And we're working with Microsoft and Synthase to actually analyze our data far more thoroughly. The amount of data you get from your process development, from your manufacturing, and from your analytical testing is vast beyond the human eye. We now put that into the cloud using artificial intelligence and computer learning, and we get a great more data analysis far more quickly than we had done in the past.
Now, the only word that can be used to describe your performance in 2020 is spectacular. It was an absolutely standout year for you. What can 2021 bring? Where are you going next?
Well, I mean, the hybrid strategy is what we're following. We're trying to bring our own products forward, and we want to make the best we possibly can from our CDMO business and our Lentivector platform. So big key for 21 is innovate our platform, new things to go into that, working hard on that as we speak today. Keep working with AZ, keep producing the vaccine as long as they want us to, and that will be clear on that, how long that goes on for reasonably soon. But I expect to be going for a while with that yet. And of course, then make sure we get lots of new partners, lots of new drugs to work on, and actually make sure we succeed with the partners we work with in every case.
Thank you very much indeed, but also genuinely thank you from all of us, because actually getting that vaccine out there has been critical already in helping drive down the number of deaths that occur in people from COVID. So thank you.
Very much. It's an honour to be doing it, and I hope we play the part I think we'll play in fighting the pandemic. Thank you very much.